Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's well on this Wednesday evening. Happy hump of the week. Guys, I want to hear from you tonight. I want to hear from you about how you are feeling about our great club, the club that we all love so dearly. What a bloody mess. What a mess from top to bottom. Threat of relegation. Owners have no idea what they're doing. The players, are they up to it? Are they any good? Is it the managers? I'm guessing it's a bit of all of them, but we will get into it. Guys, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. If you want to come on and have your say about Spurs, all I will ask is that you're dressed and that you have your camera on if possible. Obviously, if I know you're already and you've got your camera off, that's absolutely fine. Oh, what a day. What a day. And it's more the same, isn't it? It's Spurs. What do we do? What do we do? Let's go through some of the news that I've seen today. Before we do, does anyone like my background? 6 of the very best Spurs players, in my opinion. Hoddle, there's Modric behind me. Robbie Keane was one of my faves. Ginola, Gaza underneath me, and Rafa van der Vaart. Just some of the players that have graced us over the years. And listen, that's 6. I could have easily put 60 up there and still had room for more. But right now, I got to be honest, I wouldn't have a single Tottenham player in my favourites. Not one. Not one. Not even Mickey van der Ven. And probably at a push, not even James Maddison. They just don't live up to these kind of players, do they? But we will get into it. Let's go through the news quickly that I've seen today. This one come out earlier. Guys, I don't know whether you saw this, but the Spurs board are willing to terminate Igor Tudor's contract if results continue on a downward spiral. Wow, we've only played one game and already we're looking at sacking him. The club have backup plans in place. Do we believe that? I mean, we've never kind of had plans in place, so that's a weird one. The club cannot afford to get relegated. Absolutely true. But a really weird comment. The Spurs already looking to terminate Tudor if he doesn't pick results up fast. We will go through the rest. I find this interesting as well. An unavailable 11. Look at the players we have out currently. Kinski, Romero, Danzo, Udogi, Porro, Bergvall, Bentancur, Maddison, Kudus, Odegaard, and Kulusevski. I mean, as much as the managers have struggled, imagine that many players out. We've got to be honest with ourselves, right? If we had that many players fit, we would be okay. We probably wouldn't be in the position we're in. But, of course, they're injured. And we are in that position. So it's interesting. I am going to bring my guests on. First off, let's get it right. Cookie, how you doing, mate?
Hello, Nigel. How are you, mate? I had to come on. Sorry, mate. Your first call-in show and that. Do you know what I mean? And, yeah, give you a big up, mate. And just wanted to say big up to you, mate. And I hope it all goes well, you know?
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Much appreciated. And we also have Marcus. How you doing, mate? You good?
Big up, boys.
How's it going?
Good, mate. You? Be a bit of a short visit tonight, mate, because I'm due to go to work in about half an hour, so I thought I'd just pop on, say hello, have a quick chat with you all and all the crew and that, and get on with my job.
Nice. And we also have another very special guest. Wow. Ooh. Royalty is in the house. It's the sheriff. How you doing, mate?
Yeah. I was ordered by the boss to be here.
You don't want to be here.
That must be nice.
No, I'm joking, mate. I thought I'd come on and support you. First one on that.
Yeah, let's say hello to the chat quickly, then we'll get into it. Obviously, Cookie, big up Cookie, mate.
That's it, mate.
Logan is in. Big up, Logan. Big up to Guy as well. Hope you're well, mate. David Clark is in. Hope you're good, David. Let's get through that chat. And Marcus is in, of course. Rodney's in. Rob's in. Big up, guys. The sheriff is in town. Hit those likes and subs, people. John Stokes is in. Big up, John.
Big up,
Daniel
John.
Field is in as well. Big up, mate.
Daniel.
The Stig is in. Big up, buddy. I think that is it. guys, let's get into the question because that's what it's all about. And I'm going to start with Marcus because, you haven't got long, mate.
Try not to swear. What was that?
Are the players up to scratch? Is it the players?
Absolutely not. Well, I think it's a mix and match, isn't it? It's the players, it's the board, it's everything, isn't it? It all comes together, doesn't it? And if they're not matching, if they're not linking up, which they're clearly not, then it's just a mess.
Yeah, no.
Whatever happens at the top always comes tumbling down at the bottom, and players are at the bottom, and they're just going to get the brunt of it. It doesn't make no difference how many managers we have. It's still not going to resolve the issue. It's still going to be there. It'll always be there until them idiots get lobbed out.
Yeah.
I'm outside, by the way. Sorry, I apologise.
You're
all right, mate. Yeah. Looks nice. Show us what do you think?
Well, that team, you brought a team up just before I hit the StreamYard link. That's the injured players, right?
Yeah.
These are the injured players, yeah.
That's the whole team's worth.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt that we'd be higher up the league with Kinski, Paro. Yeah. Well, Bergvall, Madison, Bentancur, Kudus. Yeah, well, we would be higher up the league, you know.
There's a lot of quality though, isn't there? Especially in that front area.
Yeah. Yeah, blooming
hell.
Yeah, so, but it's, you've got to ask questions. Is that, I don't know because I don't look at stats or anything. Is any other Premier League club got 11 out, 12 out, 13 out, whatever it is?
No,
well, you got a question on medical staff then.
It's been a couple of years in a row, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at them because I did hear a few years ago they were like getting in some agency people, weren't they?
Agency.
It's like team or something. They gone from like Wish or something.
Wish.
I don't know where they got from, but it was like agency people that was going in there. So the medical staff need to be like looked at, surely. Because if no other team's got 11, it's either we're cursed, which I've believed for a long time now, or there's something wrong there.
Yeah, but even with the players we got out, Sheriff, even with the players that we fielded at the weekend against Arsenal, I don't want to go too deep into the Arsenal game because it's been and done, and the less said about it, the better. But we surely had enough there to put up more of a fight than we actually did. It was pretty pathetic, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the second half definitely was. The second half definitely was. Definitely. The first half showed a little bit of fight, but only a little bit. I'd expect more, even like in the 90s when we were miles apart. Arsenal were winning leagues and we were like mid-table and that. There was a lot of draws mixed in with that, All right, they did beat us a few times, but we did nick some points. How many games is it in a row they've done us? Twice this year, twice last year. Was it twice the year before as well?
They've beat us 4 times in a row at home, haven't they, apparently?
Oh, well, there you go.
A lot of goals.
So it must be the away games. I can't remember a draw at the Emirates for ages. So they've done us a lot of times in a row then. Certainly the last two seasons, they've done us home and away. I can't remember about a season before. But well, to be honest, of course it's down to the owners and the board. All things point up there, upstairs. Always has done, always will do, until they get their fingers out their backsides and actually care about the football and do something. Then, there we go. Andrew's put it in there. LinkedIn. That's it. I knew it was something like that. I knew it was like an agency thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to look at them. You got to look at the board. You got to look at the whole club, really, the way it's run. It starts at the top. It's like someone put in our chat the other night. The fish rots from the head down.
Yeah. So do you think this, I mean, I was going to save this question for later, but I might as well add it in now. Do you think that the fact that we are so close to relegation. I mean, this is probably the closest I can remember in my lifetime. I was alive when we got relegated, but not alive enough to remember it. This is the closest I've ever remembered us to going down. You know, we are really in a relegation scrap. Now, listen, 2 games time, we could win them both. Suddenly, we're not going anywhere. But 17th last season as well. Is this going to finally wake Enoch up to think, shit, we really can't afford to go down, because if we do, we're going to lose a lot of value on this club. We need to actually start putting the team first. Or do you think it's just going to be, okay, we're safe, we'll just carry on as normal?
Well, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you, Nigel? Honestly, you would like to think so. But, I mean, last year, the only reason we never got dragged into it last year, because the bottom 3 were like absolutely pants, and they were miles away from us.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect to whoever got relegated, but we was never getting dragged into it, even though we finished 17th. Never. So I think we still finished quite a few points ahead of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, so, but this year it's a worry. It really is. You know, 7-8 weeks ago when me and Cookie started discussing it, I thought, nah, it's not. But as time goes on, that man up there is starting to get proved right, because he said it weeks ago.
Okay, what do you think?
Unfortunately, Nigel, at the moment, the club's a disaster, right, from head to toe. We can look at it. We can talk about the board, what they're doing. We can talk about the players on the pitch, like we have been doing all this week. I think half the problem is Tottenham are bringing in managers. Like, for argument's sake, they've brought in Ange. He was front foot and a bit more, right? Then you've gone the other way, got Thomas Frank in, and he's pragmatic. Now you've got Tudor in. He likes to play 3 at the back, right? So it's a mishmash of players over different managers, and someone's got to draw the line somewhere. Now, in answer to your question about Enoch, they won't change, mate. They won't change, Nigel. They never changed before. People say about us going down, will it shake Enoch into shape? Probably not, because they're not going to sell it while we're down in the Championship.
No, you know, but we've not been this bad, have we, under them?
No, we haven't been this bad. We had a few dodgy seasons in the 90s, didn't we? Not down as low as like we are now, but in the lower echelons of the league, you know. But again, there's another question. Danny Kay on our show this morning, he said, you got to remember, you know, we've always had someone. You always look at the team and think there's someone. There's a Ginola, there's a Sheringham, and however far you go back, there's a Klinsmann, there's an Harry Kane and a Son. You know, there's someone. When you look at the moment with all the injuries we've got, you can't even say, yeah, we've got a Maddison. Do you know what I mean? We've got a Xavi Simons, but he's a young lad adjusting. So, you know, some people hit the ground running, some people don't. And as a collective at the moment, I don't know. When I look at, especially watching the Arsenal game the other day, because I thought if ever he's going to get a bit more out of them, it'll be today. You know, first game, North London derby, they'll be right up for it. But the quality of Arsenal, and it just shows you in 5, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it is, since Poch left, the roles have totally been reversed. Arsenal stuck with their manager, whether you like him or not. And again, he hasn't won anything yet, but they've improved. Now, tell me, apart from maybe 1 or 2 teams that you're going to swap Arsenal's squad with for PSG, maybe Bayern Munich, Barcelona.
No, it's not.
But when you look at what they've got now as a collective, they are a force. Whatever we think of them, they're a force, Nigel. And they've gone that way, and we've gone that way.
The thing is, mate, is I'll go out and spend 50, 60 million pound on a player. Whereas for us, you walk straight in and start. He's on the bench. You look at Eze.
Yeah, of
He
course.
doesn't get no game time. How much did he cost? 50?
Whatever it was, 50 or 60 million quid.
60,
Yeah.
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 And he's on the bench all the time. They don't worry about things like that.
No, they don't. They don't. They're
No,
not
this is
worried
how
about
much you won't. This is how much the new owners obviously done a lot as well. And can I say, when the Arsenal fans protested, there was about 300,000. You know, well, there was a darn sight more than we got. You know what I mean? When they wanted Cronky out and that, till the sun come in.
Yeah. I was just so you know, Nige, I don't know if you heard, I spoke briefly. James Flower was on the show this morning on our show. And I'll just at the end, it was right at the end before we was packing up. And we just briefly got onto what I was talking about to the protest to you, and like how it'd be a good time now to hit Enoch. And James said to me, his thought on it was it wouldn't be a good idea to do it right now or in the next few weeks. Yeah, because of where we are in the league. Yeah. His thoughts on it were like, basically, it wouldn't be good for us in the position we're in, and we're crying about Enoch now. He said, maybe when you know what's happening, you know, towards the end of the season, if you know you're going down, you know you're staying up, whatever, then maybe, you know, do a big one, get as many people as you can there, and sort of plan it in advance. But I thought that was another way of coming from it that I certainly hadn't thought of, you know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's interesting because really, right now, we should be, as a fan base, just getting behind the team to keep us up.
Yeah,
well, the whole team needs us.
Like James said, if in 6 weeks' time we know there's a very good chance we're going down, and that's a different story altogether. What do you think, Marcus? Do you think we should be protesting now, or do you think we should wait?
Well, personally, I think we should do something about it, because the thing is, if we do stay up, let's hope, you know, fingers crossed we do, what's going to change in the future? Nothing. You know, things will stay the same, exactly the same as they have done for the last, 2 years, maybe. Nothing's going to change. Yeah, it'd be nice if we stay up, but nothing will get resolved. Things will stay exactly the way they are. They'll never spend the money. You know, it's just a ongoing thing, isn't it? It seems to be an ongoing thing all the time, and they just don't seem to give a monkeys. You know, us lot, we give a monkeys. It's our team. We want them to win. We want them to do well, etc., etc. But they just seem to think, oh yeah, it's all right, as long as we're getting money coming in, which they are. They don't care.
Yeah, I think
I've actually seen it now. I've actually seen it now. The same old PR BS has come out, hasn't it?
Oh,
in the summer, rip up the wage structure.
Yeah.
All this thing. Yeah. The same old nonsense we heard when we moved in the stadium. It might happen for a couple of years and improve the squad to mid-table, but then it'll die off.
Well, the thing is, it's all right doing that, Sheriff. It's always ripping up the wage structure and paying 200 grand a week for players. But these players got to be any good. You know, we're paying allegedly 200 grand a week for Gallagher. And listen, I like him as a player. I think he's going to be a good player. But so far, let's be honest, he's been shit. He's been pretty poor. Disappointing, I'd say. And surely, if we're going to be paying that much money every week, we want players to be at a lot higher level, don't we?
To be honest, I don't think Gallagher's crap. He just ain't got the correct type of player around him. Yeah. You know, basically Gallagher's just a runner, isn't he? He's not skillful. He's not a playmaker. You get the playmaker and you stick Polina in behind him and let him do the box-to-box stuff, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
If you had someone like a Hoddle, I know he's like 70 now probably, but if you had someone like a Hoddle next to him, or a Gaza, or someone like that, the flair and creative player that could do things from anywhere, Gallagher would shine. Look, when he was in the Chelsea team and Poch made him captain, how many creative and skillful players he had around him. He's not like that. He does the hard graft.
If they let Gallagher loose in the 8, right, watch Xavi Simons shine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
Watch
that's the
him
problem
shine.
with Gavin Tibbins, isn't it? Because he's got no backup support or anything, is he?
No,
He just looks up and he thinks, "What am I going to do now?"
Yeah.
See,
all
the thing
our
is,
midfielders are very similar. They're very similar. They're all runners.
the thing is with Gallagher, though, Mark, if you watch him play, right, when he's played for Chelsea, even when he was at Atletico, right, what he is, he does give you stuff going forward within reason, but what he does is very well is he wins the ball high up. He wins it high up. He's not winning it on the halfway line or in our half. He's going and winning it sort of between the halfway line and their 18-yard box. Do you know what I mean? When he's played correctly, and then you'll get the odd go out of him, but he will find your strikers. He will give it easy and give it to a Xavi Simons and let him do his business. You know, that's what he's good at, and that's where we've got to get to with Gallagher. There's no point playing him as DM, just sitting there as a DM, and then all of a sudden he's out on the right wing. Do you know what I mean? Give him his job, yeah, and let him get on, and let all of these players get on at what they're best at doing. You know, even if we think some of them are crap at what they're best at doing, yeah, try and put as many, I don't know, round pegs in as round holes as you can. And let these players play to their best of their ability, you know?
So, I mean, what sort of formation would you play then, Cook? Because we're looking at it now. You just talked about round pegs in round holes. And obviously, at the weekend against Arsenal, we had a central midfielder playing as right wing back. We had a left back, a right back playing as left wing back. We had a central midfielder playing as centre back. You know, you think about that, and it was always going to be a tough game for us. So what would you do going forward, formation-wise? I mean, I'm hearing that Danzo could be back for the Fulham game. Porro could be back. Is it just a question of pushing Pellegrini up into midfield?
Yeah, if we can field three centre-backs, if Danzo's back, does that allow Pellegrini to go back into midfield then? Have we got three? Mickey, Danzo, and Dragushin. Right, okay. Right, well, for me, I think he's going to carry on playing three at the back anyway. I don't think he'll change. I think his focus, and this is just me trying to imagine that I'm him, right? Yeah. I think his focus is not so much on the back line because he will expect Porro to be like this all game. Coming deep, receiving. When we haven't got the ball, dropping back in. Yeah, the same whoever's on the left, whether it's Spence, Sousa, whoever it is, he wants them bang up, down, up, down, up. They're the hardest working players in his team. And because of that, you then get your Paulinias, your Gallaghers. If he's playing the five, what you'd call the five, the two wing backs, you'd have Paulinia, Gallagher, Simmons. And then all that happens is these two that are doing this don't necessarily have to stay out there when we're coming back into shape. And if you can't get to right back and left back, you just drop back in and feed in. That's all you do. Just make sure you're behind the ball. If you can't get to where you need to get to, someone will be covering your position. Yeah, because that's the sort of thing that they should be talking about. Yeah, when Porro goes, is anyone dropping across in case he loses the ball? When Spence goes, is anyone dropping back in? That type of thing. You know, we've got to get the ball further up the field. We've got to advance the ball, further up the field and try and get it to players like Simmons and whoever else, that can get on the ball and try and create something. That's all I can tell you. When we haven't got the ball, get behind it. When we have got the ball, get around it. That's basically, what I think he's going to be going for.
No, I pretty much agree with you. I'll ask Marcus this because I know you got to go in a minute, mate.
Sorry for going.
Would you talking about Spence playing as left wing back? Would you then maybe play a Sousa? Because I really do think we need balance on those wing backs. I think Porro gives us balance on the right. Would you then be tempted to play Sousa, even though he is only, 17, 18?
Got nothing to lose, have we? That's the thing.
Well, we could play Spencer, can't we, I guess?
Yeah, the thing is, Spence, he's good. He has his moments, doesn't he? But at the moment, the way I look at it, I'm not 100% convinced about Vicario. He seems like he's got butterfingers at the minute. It's just you don't know what's going to happen, do you? They've got that young lad Kinski. Get him out and let him have a go.
He's injured, though, isn't he?
I think he's injured, Marcus.
Where is he? Probably why. But yeah,
he was out of the squad the other day, and Austin was the reserve keeper.
Oh, right, okay. Because he's only played a few matches, hasn't he? Which I'm surprised because he's pretty good.
I like him. Yeah, I like Kinski.
Mm.
I wouldn't be averse to giving him a go, but it's a big ask now, isn't it, for a manager to come in and drop one of your main men, I guess, in Vicario. He's one of your leadership group. But what would you do, chaps? Would you be tempted to drop Vicario and put Kinski in when fit?
No,
I'm not sure how long Kinski's out for, but no.
All I can remember about Kinski is he was very good with his feet.
Yes.
The first game he played when he was chipping defenders and that.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He was the complete opposite of Vicario, because whenever the ball gets played back to him, it's like panic mode. I was like covering my eyes just in case.
See, the problem is with both keepers. You've got one who's a good shot stopper and he can't do nothing else, yeah, and the other one's good with his feet, yeah, and he's not a good shot. Well, we've seen a couple of iffy ones go in when he has played, anyway. But he's good with his feet. But my thing to you would be, he may well be good with his feet, but when he gives it and when he does whatever he's doing, the players out on the field that are receiving it and then moving it on, yeah, we're too deep. We're way too deep. And I'm not saying push up to the exaggeration mode of, how we was with Ange, but I think that we definitely have to somehow, some way, especially when we're under pressure from teams, find a way that when we do get the ball back, to progress as a team, as a unit up the field. Because I know Arsenal were different class the other night, don't get me wrong, but it was almost like we was oofing it again. Oofing it and hoping that something was going to happen. But if you're not getting the players around the ball, it's just going to keep coming back. That's just where I'm with it. We need to be further up the pitch. We've got to work a way out of how to do that. Yeah. Even though it's difficult with, 11, 12, 13, whatever it is. Like you said, Nige, you've just made a team up, mate, of injured players. Literally in the right positions as well. Apart from Kulu, maybe. Yeah. But
absolutely.
Absolutely,
mate. I'll just do this super sticker and then I'll introduce Simon. Thank you, Daniel. Much appreciated, mate. Thanks for the super sticker. I've got a choo-choo somewhere, but I'm not going to look for it right now. But much appreciated, mate.
It's a cat shaking itself. It was a cat.
Shaking, Nice. Welcome, Simon. Good to see you, mate.
Hello there. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Talk to us. How are you feeling about Tottenham, mate?
I'm on blood pressure tablets. There's your answer. Not good. Not good. No, seriously, not good at all. It's going from bad to worse. Is it going to get any better anytime soon? Who knows? But it has to, really, doesn't it? We have to start kicking on from the weekend against Fulham. We've got to start picking up points because we are getting into that. We are in the danger zone, and if we don't start winning and getting a few results next few games, I think the trapdoor's going to be wide open and we're going to go through it. I really do.
Somebody's just put on the chat that somebody's going to. Can you read that word? It says Mike Pepper.
But yeah, he says, evening all. Good to see Simon Jordan rip Enoch a new one earlier today on TalkSport. He seems to think they will sell.
Wow. Whoa. There's hope.
They're not going to. Sorry, they're not going to sell if we go down, are they? Not going to.
No.
Not going to lose money, are they? If we go down, they're going to be just sticking around even longer till we go back up again. So we're stuck with them, aren't we?
Like 15 years, that'll be.
Just a thought, right? You know they've got this valuation in their head that it's sort of like Mark says, 3.5, 4 billion, whatever it is, right? Around that figure. Do you think because they haven't invested in the team properly, if we do manage to stay up, by hook or by crook, that maybe something might happen in the summer? The ball might get rolling and they sell it. But what I'm talking about is that they've got that figure, but because they haven't invested the millions into the team, perhaps they might well think, hang on a minute, we've got to stick $500 million into this team, to get us back up to start winning trophies again, right? And being in the conversation again, right? Because we're a long way from that. So if we did stay up, do you think they might sell it for less?
No, I doubt it.
I doubt it as well, but I'm just putting the
I
question
doubt it. I think they're going to be around. Sorry, Cookie, they're going to be around for a while yet, mate. They're going to be around for a while. The next 2 or 3, I reckon they'll be around for the next 2-3 years, somewhere around round about there. But the most important things, mate, we've got to stay up.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't want to really be thinking about next. I don't really want to be thinking about next season. I'm just thinking about the next 11 games, and we need points, and we need them quickly, mate.
Oh, exactly.
I agree.
We need to get points. We need points, mate, because if we don't, we're going down.
I'm kind of at a thought. That thing we just read out there. I'm kind of thinking, and I said to you earlier about maybe us being near the bottom might make Enoch like start buying players. Like it might work the other way. It might be literally, I think, we're done here. We don't want to put money into the team, so we'll just sell up now because otherwise we're going to go down and we'll lose money.
Yeah, but we should have got. Sorry, Nigel. We should have got players in January. We were slipping down in January.
Yeah.
We've got to cut 2 or 3 loans in just to make sure we definitely stayed up. We should have got 2 or 3 players in January, just to get straight into the first team. And we think, okay, at least we've got another goal scorer or somebody in midfield or somebody down the left wing, just to get to get us through this. They're playing a very dangerous game. They've been playing for a while now, and it's going to bite them on the side if it carries on like this.
Yeah. You only got to look at what West Ham done.
Well, that's right. All right, they brought a couple of players in, and they're not doing too. They're making a bit of a comeback, aren't they? They're only a few points behind us. I know they've got Liverpool the weekend away, which you presume Liverpool are going to win that, but we've got Fulham. We have to beat Fulham, or we've got to beat Palace before we go to Liverpool, because we're not going to get nothing at Liverpool. So we've got to get at least 4 points before we get to Liverpool. At least 4.
I agree with that, by the way.
At least 4. At least 4. We've got to pick up some points in March because April's not looking good. We've got Villa. We've got Chelsea. We've got some hard games in April. So March, we've got to get some points in the board. If we don't, I think we've had it.
Fair play, mate.
Sorry about that. That's how I feel, mate. Next few games, we've got to pick up points in March because if we don't, April's not looking good fixture-wise. If you go through the fixtures in April, we've got hard games now, but even harder. We've got like the Chelseas and the Villas. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to beat Villa away, and we ain't going to beat Chelsea away.
We never do.
Never do. So by the end of March, we've got to be out of this mess.
Well, we're not great against Fulham away, are we?
I think the Forest game at home.
That's a 6-pointer.
It's going to be massive. It's going to be a
6-pointer.
Game.
That's a 6-pointer, Cookie. That is a 6-pointer, mate.
Yeah.
By the time, that's what I'm saying, West, where we can get something against Fulham and then something against Palace. At least we got something before we end up playing Forest at home.
Yeah.
Because Forest ain't going to be that easy. Forest is going to be a very difficult game because they got a pretty good side out. They gave Liverpool a good game the other day. And they're not going to, let's get that with a home records, we know what we're like at home. So I'm saying we've got to get something against Fulham. And hopefully, I've got a feeling we'll get something at Fulham. I've got a feeling we'll do Palace. I think we'll be all right next couple of games. But like I said, April's not looking good fixture-wise.
No, and you look at Forest side, I mean, I think man for man, Forest's got a better team than us. It's going to be a tough game.
They have at the moment. Unless we had our first team in, well, I think we'll be better than them. But at the moment, they've got a better 11 than we have.
Yeah,
Forest. I agree with that one.
It's games like the Forest game where that ground has got to be the 12th man.
Again.
Everyone cheering.
All the home games have got to be now, Mark.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think we're on that much of a slippery slope. Everyone has to remember, right? That confidence is a major thing in football.
Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're playing against someone, for argument's sake, let's not go to the Arsenal levels. Yeah. But I don't know, pick a team that's better than, let's say, Brentford. Here's a great example, Brentford. Right? So, I don't know how to explain it. Brentford, yeah, managed by Thomas Frank. Keith Andrews has gone in. I wouldn't imagine he's changed much, yeah, because they're all aligned from top to bottom at Brentford. Yeah, he's doing his thing. Brentford have brought in players that Tottenham scouts probably wouldn't even have looked at. Yeah, like a Thiago, yeah, the Igor fella up front, right? Now, Spurs, for whatever reason it is, have lulled their, just ENIC, have, like Simon says, have got us into a position, yeah, where we are effectively bollocksed, right? Because they can't do nothing now. They're only out to stop Spurs from going down is changing the manager again before the end of the season. That is their one option. If it's not working with Tudor, they can change the manager, but that's still no guarantee that you're going to stay up. For me, yeah, if we stay up this season by hook or by crook, I guarantee you the window will be the usual. They've already come out spilling the old shit. Yeah, how much we're going to spend. Pick up, Dan. How much we're going to spend, you know, what we're going to do in the summer. And we all sit here and it never happens. It never happens. So if 2 years of being where we are now don't sort of teach ENIC a lesson, what is going to?
Yeah, but even even so, even if we do stay up, which hopefully we do, Romero's going to go anyway. Van der Ven is making noises. He'll want to go. So I have no European football anyway. Vicario wants to go. I'm not worried about him. He can bugger off anyway. So we're going to lose a few players anyway, aren't we? And having that, if we do, have no European football next season, who's going to want to join us anyway? Or unless they throw, like you said, to throw the money around for the wages, we might get a few top players in. But who knows? But like I said, we're going to lose a few, and we'll probably get a few in. So are we going to be any better off next season if we stay up with no European football?
Can I just stop everybody just for 2 seconds? I have to go to work, unfortunately. But
coming on, buddy.
It's been great speaking to all of you again.
Big up,
and let us know when your next conversation's on, and I'll be in.
Big up to you, Marcus.
Right, mate, much love.
Have a good evening, guys, and big up to all the chat. And speak to everybody soon. Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah.
Take care, buddy.
Have a good night, mate.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Big up, Dan. Talk to us, mate. What's going on?
Go on, mate. How you doing? No, just sitting there. I've got 20 minutes, so I thought I'd pop on and say hello. God, we are in a mess, aren't we? Complete and utter up shit street. 2 more bad results and we're in that bottom 3 if it goes the other team's way. Anyone who plays us now, instead of 1 or 2 that might have played to get a point out of us, everybody is going to be going tooth and nail to get 3 points out of us. We are the weakest team in the Premier League at the moment. And we are a complete and utter mess. And the one that just makes me think out of it is whether people like it or not, Daniel Levy, ENIC, made this business the size it is. I mean, in my opinion, the only reason we even have a right to call ourselves a big club anymore or get put on the big club structure is purely because of money. It is not because of what we've done in football over the past 30 odd years. And they've built it that big that this place is worth, some say 3 billion, some say 5 billion. So I'm going to say 4 billion just to round it off. They've built it up that massive, that bigger structure including the stadium and everything else. How have they let it fall to shit like this? I mean, even forgetting the football side, I'm trying to just look on it their side, the business side of it. How can they let their business fall apart like this? That's the bit I'm definitely struggling with. Letting the football fall apart, well, they've done that consistently for many years. You can see that they've always been more interested in money than they have football, haven't they?
Yep.
So on the business side, how have they even let their business fall apart like this? Because if we go down, after watching Sava's show the other day and the video he showed on there, there was a few things on there that I didn't take in and think of. We are going to crash in every which way possible, basically, unless we come straight back up, which is highly unlikely. How have they let this business crash like that? Looking at it from their side, they've built up something massive on the business structure. They've basically let it fall to pieces.
Yeah, and that's why that's why for me it could be a good time for them to sell if we stay up. Obviously not if we go down, but if we stay up, it's a perfect time to sell because, like I said, they're not going to put money into the players. They're not going to build this team, and we're flirting with relegation every season now. We have for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And one thing you have to remember is as well that even though it don't make business sense to a lot of people, like Dan just said and Mark said before, you know, they see it at 4 million, right? But if we do stay up, and I despair if we go down, right? If we manage to stay up, remember, even though it doesn't sound like good business sense because they think it's worth 4 billion, they only bought it for £22 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So even if you said, for argument's sake, right, we managed to stay up and they went, you know what? We know we ain't invested in the team properly. We haven't done this. We haven't done that. And for argument's sake, they said, right, 3 billion. 3 billion, it can go. If someone comes in, £3 billion, the football can go. Because I tell you, if this lot carry on in charge, right, we will end up with no football team. It will just disappear and they'll use the stadium and we'll have a stadium somewhere else. That it's just it reeks of it to me, but I hope they sell up before.
No matter what they do, even if we was to go down, example, and we lose a third of what the place is worth, they're still not in negative equity, are they?
No.
You know, even if the place goes down to say £1 billion, they're still not in negative equity.
No, they're not. No.
So in that aspect, they've definitely done something right for themselves on the business side, didn't they? On the football side, they totally screwed it up as good as possible, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, you think of the players that we'll probably lose on the end of the season, even if we stay up. Van der Ven, he's gone. You can say
he wants out anyway, doesn't he? By his talking, he wants out.
Exactly, but you can see he wants out. There's bigger teams that are interested in him.
He wants out.
See you later. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Romero didn't want to be there already. The only reason he accepted the new contract because he got offered a new contract with wages. No one else was willing to pay for him and buy him, basically. So you accept the new contract with the wages, don't you?
Right.
And that's why he stayed there. And then you look at other players we've got. There's going to be ones on there that you can't bloody sell, come love nor money. I mean, who's going to want Kulusevski with his shattered kneecap? That's a player half done. Maddison, one of the best playmakers in the Premier League, old school style, basically. But again, he's got legs like bloody Weetabix, doesn't he? He gets busted way too easy. I mean, who's going to come in and buy any of those other players that we've got? Maybe buy that we're going to let go.
wants out, Dan, doesn't he? Vicario wants out. He can go anyway. Vicario can go. The liability. I wouldn't miss him. Vicario wouldn't miss.
Excellent shot stopper.
Yeah, but he's
not a good all-round modern day keeper. Not a good modern day keeper. Taking back 20 years, football would have been at his prime. But these days, you need to be a sweeper keeper, and he ain't got it. Italy would be the perfect league to go back to for him for the way they play. It'll suit him down to a T.
That's
But
right.
then we need to get a decent goalkeeper in there, because a good goalkeeper usually gets you anything from 10 points a season, doesn't it? A good goalkeeper can win you a league or stop you getting relegated or win you a cup.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're talking about Henderson of Crystal. They're talking about Henderson of Crystal Palace at the moment. I noticed they could be going for Henderson of Crystal Palace.
I think he's better than Vicario overall.
Oh yeah, definitely have Henderson. Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of goalkeepers I'd rather have over Vicario.
Most, yeah.
But there will be a few players leaving. There will be a few players leaving. That's for sure. If we stay up, even if we stay up, there'll be a few players leaving. But would you keep Pelini? Would you keep, if we stay up? Would you keep Pelini here?
I'd like to.
For me, yes.
I think he's been one of our better players. I think he's been one of our best players, if not our best player this season.
Listen, that bloke the other day, I don't know if you saw in the Arsenal game, he ran the best part of 65 yards.
Yeah.
All the way to shut Raya down.
Yeah.
He ran past Tottenham players, he ran past Arsenal players, and he kept going and going and going until he got to Raya. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Do you know what I mean? I think he's brilliant for Spurs. Don't get me wrong, not the best player in the world.
No.
But what I like about it is that he can go and put fires out. He can break things up. He scores a few goals now and again. Yeah. And, you know, he may not be that progressive passer, but like we were saying earlier, Paulinho, you do your job. Gallagher, you do your box-to-box job, what you do. Simmons is there. The wing-backs are there that can either drop back, you know, to make the 5, or drop in to help the midfield to make a 5. That's their job. That will be their job.
He's good at what he does. He's a DM through and through. Is he a good passer? No. Is he good going forward? Not particularly.
No.
He's one of those players that is just very good at what he does.
Yeah,
he doesn't really offer you. Yeah, he doesn't offer you much more except being a quality DM.
That's right.
But if that's what you want a player to be, then perfectly fine. I think him and Gallagher next to each other, fine.
Yeah. But I do not. Yeah, I do not want to see Paulinho at centre half against Fulham. Put him in midfield. Paulinho in midfield, and if hopefully Danzo's back, put Danzo along Van der Ven. If Danzo's fit, play him alongside Van der Ven, and Porro at right back if he's fit enough.
Simmons is who I've got questions with, though.
Yeah.
I've seen him play a couple of good games. I've seen him play a couple of good games this season, and the bloke's definitely got skill. We can see that. My question is he actually made for the Premier League? I've got questions about it. Obviously, we'll see more next season, if he's even here next season, basically. Yeah. But I am starting to wonder, is he actually made for the Premier League? Would he just be better off staying in Bundesliga or going to La Liga, for instance, which is faster, quicker as such, but you've got more time on the ball? He doesn't like the fact that he doesn't get no time on the ball whatsoever. But even when he does get the ball, he looks around. There's no one there to bloody pass it to.
That's right. Says it all then, doesn't it?
And that's what I was saying, Dan, about we've got to get further up the pitch. Do you know what I mean? I know it's difficult against Arsenal, but there's other instances as well where we just seem to be pushed so far back, under a bit of pressure or whatever. We oof it out, up to whoever's up front. There's no one around him, They do whatever they do to hold on to the ball. 9 times out of 10, they lose it, and back it comes again. It's madness. In some way, shape, or form, Tudor has got to get this team, and I'm not talking about Ange levels. I said it earlier, Dan. I'm not talking about way into their half, but as a unit, I think we've got to, move up the pitch more because we're just not getting out enough.
Well, even if you're going to play a long ball like we tried against Arsenal, the goalkeeper, as soon as he got the ball, he booted it up the other end of the pitch where Moane was barely past the halfway line on his own. At least wait until there's a couple of others up the other end. We weren't even doing that. We were just kicking it back to them, basically, without a chance in hell we're getting it. Fine, with the defenders they got, you still ain't got much chance. But with a couple of players there, you've got a chance. We was just kicking it up there with nobody up there.
True. True. Guys, this question here from Pete, and it's kind of, I think it's tongue-in-cheek because he's not a Spurs fan, but would relegation be the end of the world? I know financially it wouldn't be great, But listen, we support Spurs regardless of what league they're in, right? So would it be the end of the world if we went down? Forget about money to start with. A lot of these players leave. Fine, I can't stand a lot of these players anyway. We get to see a lot of these younger players that a lot of fans are crying out for. The Mikey Moores, maybe the Vuskovic is coming in because they won't need to go out on loan to a lower league side because we're in the lower league anyway. Would it be like the end of the world if we're not just looking at money?
You can't look at it and not look at money.
No,
you can't. You have to look at the money with it. Whether people like it or not, football is more money orientated than it is anything else. It's more of a business than a sport now, and that's just it is what it is. It shouldn't be like that, but then I should be able to leave my car door open and my front door open without someone robbing me. You can't. That's just life. And football, you can't answer that question without the money side of it, because the money side of it would cripple us so badly. Then you look at the youth lot we've got that are so good that they can't even get in the bloody championship team. One of them, okay, Mikey Moore, he's only young, but he's had to go to the Scottish League and do it. Are they going to be able to come back and play in the championship? The most physical league on the planet, basically. The championship is more... The championship is more physically draining and more physical and stuck in than any other league on the planet.
Yeah.
So most of these players are so injury prone anyway. And then you look at the younger ones who can't even get in the championship team. How are they going to get us out of a championship? One way or another, whether you want to answer money or not, money is what a lot of this comes down to. Because if your club ain't got money, it falls to pieces anyway.
Yeah.
Who can you buy? What can you do?
It's true.
I would say if we do go down, there's no guarantee we're coming back up.
No.
It's a tough old league, that championship. It's a tough old league. And, you know, I mean, in a way, I don't want us to get relegated. I've seen it once in my life.
So have I.
I remember I was very young. I was like 6 or 7.
I was 10 years older than you then.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that.
And we had better players then.
Yeah, we had
better players then.
Perriman, Taylor.
Some people will say that Division 2 season was one of the best seasons he ever seen.
Yeah.
I know money wasn't in the game then, so it was slightly different.
But finally, if we got relegated, it may kick Enoch up the backside to say, look, this is a football club that you've built that's now worth, using what Dan said, $4 billion. That, you know, it's all right having the infrastructure if you ain't got. It's like Pot said. We got the shiny new lights. We got the shiny home. Where's the furniture to go in it? You know what I mean? I think if we got relegated, it would kick Enoch. It would give Enoch the boot up the arse they need to say, right, we got to put the football first.
I don't know if it would.
No.
If they would still make money out of Spurs, basically, for us being in the championship, they'd lose a hell of a lot of money out of it. But if they was to still make profit out of it overall, would they actually care? It might have gone down a hell of a lot, but the money it would cost them to get us back up to that standards, and apart from having to have a scouting team does help, which we just don't seem to have one, is that going to make them sell as well? Is that going to make them spend money? We just really wouldn't know unless it happened, basically.
No.
And the reason everyone is talking about relegation at the moment is because it's so bloody close. I mean, what do you do to fix it? The only thing we have now to rely on, basically, is not even the manager. Like, he gives a toss. He's just got a 12-game job where he's had a couple of mil put in his back pocket. If Spurs get relegated, that's not going to look bad on his CV, because he's joined a team that's in a relegation fight where 3/4 of the team is busted anyway, and they're playing absolute crap anyway. So it's not even going to look bad on him if we go down. And in that aspect, there is only one. There's no point on changing the bloody manager again. What manager's going to come in and take the job? I think that's already proven where we got Tudor. So the only thing we have to rely on now is some of the players actually doing their job.
Yeah,
and that doesn't look good either.
Agreed.
Right.
So where do we go from there?
Okay.
Can I just say something, Nige, before you all cut
go
in,
for it, mate.
if you don't mind? Listen, I've got my phone going here. I can see how many people are in here. Right. First call-in show tonight. You got star of the show, Simon. Dan thought I was going to point at him. but I didn't.
Dan's the one. I always listen to Dan. He knows what he's talking about. I don't. I don't know what I'm talking about, but Dan does.
Anyway, can I just say, there's nearly 130 of you in here. Hit the sub button for Nige, please. Yeah, I'm not worried about anyone else, but hit the sub button for who you want, but particularly for Nige. Yeah, first call-in show tonight. So, you know, people are coming in, chatting to him. Dan's been in, Marcus has been in, Simon's here now. You know, you're more than welcome, I believe. So pop in.
Bad cough, mate.
Oh, that didn't sound too healthy.
No, bad cough, mate. 'Cause you never mention my name.
Yeah, show us into.
I'll leave that tonight. You're part of me, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who's in here. Thank you to everyone who's come on. Really do appreciate everyone. Let's not talk about relegation because Rudolph's getting upset by it. So let's stop talking about relegation and talk about what we must do to improve results. So what do we do, chaps?
This is the big question.
I don't know where the next win's coming from.
No.
Personally.
Score more goals than the opposition for a start.
That
would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that may help a little bit.
That would help. Do you think that Fulham, you know, from what I can remember, over the past few years, it hasn't been an happy hunting ground for Spurs, particularly. Fulham have got some decent players. Yeah, they're not, the greatest by any stretch of the imagination. Mid-table side. Do we have to go? How do we approach that game? As in, do we try and set the tempo because we're away? Does that suit us better, or do we just let them have a go at us? Because I'm worried about that they could be too, like Dan was saying earlier about Xavi, but in general, could be a bit physical for us. Yeah, have we got that physicalness in our game? Because whatever they do, for me, we've got to match that and a little bit more. Yeah, obviously, to try and win the game. How do people see that going, the game at the weekend?
For number one, I'd have Polina in midfield, not centre half. And if Danzo's fit, I'll have Danzo at the back. So he gives a bit more oomph at the back and Polino a bit more oomph in midfield for a start. So that'll beef it up a bit more. But ideally, I'd have a go at Fulham. We need 3 points. Even if you play three up front, Richie, Moani and Solanke play three up front and just have a go at them.
Cool.
Or even if you play Porro wide right, so you can put the ball across to whoever, to a couple of forwards up front, so they get their head on it.
If not, get at least a point. We need at least a point.
At least a point.
At least. Stink it out for a 0-0.
What formation do we use? People don't like us playing three at the back. They say it's too defensive. They don't like that style. No. But then we can't exactly go do a wide 4-2-3-1. We haven't got a single winger in that team.
No.
You wouldn't play Porro. You wouldn't play Porro wide right then, Dan. You wouldn't play Porro wide right if he was fit.
I would. Yeah, I would. He's one who I've said I'd like to see up there other end of the pitch personally, because he's about the only one we've got
who can cross the ball. That's right.
Even he's been poor at that this season.
What would you play him like in the kudos position, Dan?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of so he can get further up the field to sort of get the crosses in.
If I had the option there, sort of thing, and it's limited on what we've got anyway, you could play him on the right, Spence as the right back if we was playing a flat back four, basically.
Yeah.
And then, do you know what? The new fella, if Adogi ain't fit or whatever, I'd go put him on the left because he is actually a left back or a left wing back. We don't actually know, but that is where he actually plays.
Yeah.
And maybe try that one because Porro, I don't think you get a problem with getting forward and getting the crosses in. With Porro, the thing that he's abysmal at is his defending. It is absolutely shocking. The only thing he can do is get in front of a ball now and again. He can't tackle for love nor money, can he? What formation do we use?
The thing is with Porro, he was actually brought in for Conte, I believe.
Yeah. As a wing back.
That's
what he is.
Yeah.
That's what he always played. He always played as a wing back, never a right back.
Yeah, that's why he's not very good defensively, because a wing back's job is to go up the pitch.
Yeah. And maybe cover at the back a little bit when needed, but defending for a wing back isn't the main priority. The priority is having the pace get forward and cross it in, basically, from deep or early. And he's about the only one we've got who you could class who can play at the moment, that you could even maybe call him that he's got a chance of being a good winger, because Tell ain't going to do it. Odebert's busted along with the rest of them. Richarlison can't do it. He's not a winger.
Yeah.
Mane isn't a winger. The closest we've actually got to someone who can actually play properly on the wing on a 4-2-3-1 is actually Porro, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, if Porro is back, though, I worry that we're that reliant on him getting out the pitch and getting the ball over that he gets injured again. You can't burn him out straight away.
Mate, whatever we go and do, we've got to get the points where we can.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
of course.
the one thing I think we've got to do, personal opinion, I think we need to throw this Champions League under the table, basically. Totally forget about it and just focus on that league, because I really don't care about the Champions League.
I don't either. Don't give a toss about it, Dan.
No, that league is more important. So even if we go on the Champions League and put out a whole bunch of youth on there because we're focusing on the league, to me, that shows someone being sensible. I know a lot of people won't like it. How can you do that in the Champions League? Yeah, well, stuff the Champions League. We've basically got relegation right up our arse at the minute.
Right.
So Champions League is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned.
Let's face it, we ain't winning it anyway, are we? We're not winning it.
No.
Either way, we got to focus on that league more than anything. So the less games the players do have to play as such, the less chance there is of injury as such. So the more you do play them, the more chance of injury there is. So I'd totally blow that Champions League right under the water, basically, and just put the kids out there and then just focus on the league games we got.
Yeah, can't afford any more injuries.
We won't even get into the Champions League again if we're in the bloody Championship. So staying up is the priority. Simple as.
Well, we won't get in Europe.
Buddy, welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate
that.
Mate,
joining us.
I'm going to jump. I've got to finish off cooking dinner and everything. I was just jumping on to say hello and that. Good to see you. You take care of yourself.
On, mate.
Cheers, Dan.
See you later.
Bye. Cheers, Dan.
Right, sorry, mate. What's your name?
My name's Deathly Main. I usually just hang around the chat.
Yeah. I've seen you. Yeah.
Exactly. I've been trying to sort of start my own thing. It was called something else before because I was going to do it with another guy, but they were too caught up with their work, so I rebranded to Deathly Spurs TV, just doing it solo. But yeah, basically, from what I've been seeing the past few weeks, if we want to try and avoid the atrocious form we've been seeing, there are two things we just need to focus on. The first one for me is just playing as a team. They just do not look like a team. It goes back to what Conte said in that press rant. They look like 11 players who are playing for themselves, but they're not a team. There's no cohesion. You see Xavi running with the ball on his own, but there's no one there with him. There's no support. The second thing I think we should prioritise is just trying to play bloody square pegs in square holes, because this whole entire season, I know we've been crippled by injuries, but it just seems like we've always been trying to place someone in a position they're not. Like, for example, at the weekend, when we put Polinia in the defence, for me, it exposed our midfield. And I would have sooner, because he's played it a few times under Ange, had Gray as the centre half, stuck Polinia up in midfield, and then put that new Sousa kid on the left. Even though he's a kid,
right?
He's a fullback. It's a square peg in a square hole. If you do it that way, that's just my take on it. Basically, just try and prioritise teamwork and square pegs in square holes. Basically,
I agree with that. I agree.
Spot on. Yep.
Spot on.
Basically, so I don't
know what else to say to that. That's it, isn't it? He's right. Exactly right what he says. Yeah. Exactly right what he says. Spot on, mate.
Thank you.
But Spence can't play left back, can he? Spence ain't a left back.
No, he never has been.
Need that
never
balance.
has been. But they keep playing him over there, don't they?
Yeah,
How many times have you moaned about that, Mark? How many times have you moaned about the right footer being on the left?
Me and Danny had a small tiff about that, to be fair. Earlier on in the season, because I said I wanted left-footed players on the left. Yeah. And ideally, I mean, we're talking about professional footballers here. I never was, and my old man had me kicking a tennis ball up against the bloody garage door at 5 years old. Yeah, don't kick with your left foot, Mark. We know you can do that.
Try with your right.
With your right.
Yeah.
I grew up as a 2-footed player, right? But you look at some of these out there today, yeah, they can barely stand on the other foot.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's madness. I don't get it. But going back to your point, Nige, and what Definitely said, unfortunately, we don't know about the Sousa kid. Only Igor's seeing him in training, right? Maybe this is the game where he goes, do you know what? Going to give this kid a go, see what happens. Like you say, left foot, left-sided. Yeah, maybe Spence goes to right back with Poirot pushing further up the field. If he plays a 4. If he plays a 4. If not, play Sousa. Yeah. A lot of people might go, you can't do this. Play Sousa. Yeah. Play the 3 at the black. Play Poirot at the field. Spence on the bench.
Oh, well, that's
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, worth thinking about.
Yeah, let's welcome Anthony to the show. It's Anthony, isn't it?
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah, you're right.
Anthony.
How you doing, mate? Let's ask you a question. This is a question about leadership. So, is leadership a problem? Like when our captain misses so many games through suspension, calls out the board, and our vice captain blanks the previous manager in Frank, and now seems to be ignoring Tudor. Is leadership a problem for you and the team?
Yeah, I actually, I'm starting to wonder who these players actually think they are.
100%.
Romero obviously calls out the board a few, obviously after the transfer window, which I think most fans probably agreed with him. And then a few days later, he gets sent off. There's no leadership like captains like there used to be, like the Keanes of the areas of the world. These players, I don't think there's been a proper leadership leader at Spurs or in football in general for a long time. And yeah, I just don't think we have any leaders in our team. It'd be interesting if Romero goes in the summer, who they'll promote as captain, because I don't know who the captains are, to be honest. I think they're all a bit like a lot of them are just like petulant children, really.
Yeah, buy Paulinia and give him the band.
I was about to say that very thing.
That's what I'd do.
That was my exactly.
Or even someone like I don't know if he's captain material, but even someone like if he stays, that is like James Maddison. I think someone
he's
like
already
him.
a vice captain, so I think he's the most likely candidate. It's just about whether he becomes games,
I
was going to say the thing with Maddison is it depends how fit he is.
Right,
He's
can't
got
rely on Maddison.
this with Leicester. In for 6 months, out for 6 months.
Yeah, agree.
But Romero, Romero's. It clearly doesn't want to be here.
Romero's going next season.
He should be I don't think he should be captain. The only reason he's captain is because of how long he's been at Spurs for.
Yeah.
But he's not a leader. He's not reliable. He gets sent off too many times, too many bookings, and we need someone reliable, and he's definitely not it.
He's sort of, for me, when a lot of people are saying that he seems gone, he wants to go elsewhere. But my question in my head recently has been, with all these red cards, these sort of little mistakes he's making at the back too, when he does lose concentration, what club is actually going to go in for him? Like, I can see maybe an Atletico Madrid at best, but they're a bit sort of wishy-washy, spending money, aren't they? So who realistically that's better? Well, there are a lot of teams right now better than us, but like, which sort of big club that's up there, who's going to go in for him that he's going to want to leave Spurs to go to? Basically, that's my question.
Yeah, the thing is, with Romero, I think as Spurs fans, I think we hype him up a bit, but no other fan base rates him. And he obviously, he's a World Cup winner, but he won the World Cup because of Messi. If Argentina would have won that World Cup with Romero in it or without him, and I just think he's a bit. I actually don't rate him. I think he's a bit overrated by some Spurs fans, to be honest.
As Argentina, he's full of a team of world-class players, isn't he? Not just Messi.
Yeah.
They're a
Did
team.
you notice though with Romero, he's always fit for Argentina?
Yeah, that's another thing.
That's always been in my mind ever since he's been here.
Yeah,
Go on.
I was just going to say, that's the thing. Like, he'll pick up an injury or something, and then soon as the
Missed 2 weeks.
soon as the qualifiers around, he'll suddenly be fit for that. And I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of attitude. If he's gonna be like that, then I really don't want players like that at the club.
Yeah, I think with Romero, because I hear what you're saying with that he's overrated, and I do agree with that sentiment for the very reason I'm about to say. He seems to be one of these players that sort of has, let's say, I don't know, 3 8 out of 10 performances, and then maybe 4 sort of 6 to 7 out of 10 performances, and then another 3 like 2 to 3 out of 10 performances, basically. So he's inconsistent, and then because we're sort of so starved of these players who just usually give us 9s and 10s like Kanes and Sons and Yans and Tobys, we just sort of latch on to those few 8 out of 10 performances and sort of basically say he's sort of like untouchable. We can't get rid of him. But really, if we're trying to sort of build something like what we saw under Poch, we need to try either turn him into just getting these consistent 8 out of 10 performances, which over the years he hasn't really proven to be able to do because he keeps on doing these stupid errors and getting these stupid red cards. Or we look elsewhere and try and develop someone else into being the next Jan, the next Toby, and so on.
He's there at Hamburg, definitely.
Yeah. Get him back next season. There's your replacement. Get him back.
Yeah, he's got to come back next season. He's got to be here next season.
Get him in.
Let's bring Haz in quickly. Let's just bring Haz in because he's not spoken for a while. Big up, Haz. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, coming to terms with the reality, I guess. But I don't know. I think mentally we're already down. Like, just looking at the players, I was hoping for some sort of response when Tudor came in. Like, I'm not asking for us to beat Arsenal. I was just asking for us to just have more fight, really. I mean, it's not really the score that annoyed me. Like, I expected to lose. Maybe if it was just 3-1, I would have been a bit happier, I guess. But it's just there was no response from the players from Tudor coming in. So this is what worries me. Because after the Newcastle game, because I looked at that game as like a game where we had to win, and if we didn't win, I thought like that's it. Because I wrote off the Arsenal game anyway. But it's just the lack of response from the players from Tudor. Like I said, I'm not expecting them to go out and beat Arsenal or even draw the game, really. But it's the way we lost the game, especially in the second half. It's just the way they were playing. It's just there's no fight in them. And I look back at, for example, in 2004, or even years before that, like you look at players like Tarico, bringing him up as an example, or Jamie Redknapp, who were like really old, probably not as good technically as like, I don't know, some of the players we have, a lot of the players we have now, like Xavi or whatever, but they had a lot more fight in them. And where we're in those positions, you had a lot more confidence that they'll pull it around. And ultimately, we're in this position because of poor recruitment over the past 6 years, whatever, let's say. And for me, I'm worried that they're already down. They're already defeated in that, and that's it. And the only way this is going to change is if Tudor suddenly decides, I'm going to just pick players who want to play for Spurs. I know it sounds really cheesy and like cringe, but like as in even youngsters, I'd rather see the youngsters play for the rest of the season than some of these first team players because at least they might have more fight in them.
I agree.
But like, he's got to find a quick solution because after his press conference, I was watching, he was saying, we have loads of bad habits. But to kill habits, that takes a long time. He's not going to be able to kill it in like a week or two. So I think he needs to go with more of the kids that are on the bench. I'm not saying play the whole team of kids, right? I'd keep like Rolling a few others. But I'd rather see Austin in goal than flipping Vicario for the rest of the season, for example. Yeah, I'm done with all of them, really. So if he's going to do something different, he has to literally just do something wild and just start playing kids. And
I do. I've got to say, sometimes what you just said there was spot on, I think, because sometimes stars can be born out of adversity, right? It does happen, right? For me, let Luca Williams-Barnett free.
Yeah.
Let him free. I know he's young. I don't mean playing 90 minutes every game. Yeah? But let him free. Let him show the world what he's got. Everyone keeps saying this kid is going to be the next big thing at Spurs. Well, don't leave him on the bench. When you're short of players, yeah, and you think he's got a bit of quality, let him shine. Bring it in.
100%. I think I see a lot of this being said online, this whole kind of thing where it's like, oh, you know, but what if he's not ready? And then you throw him on and it doesn't go well and it goes wrong. And I'm like, okay, that's basically the same result as what we've been seeing for the past months anyway. It's already going
wrong.
Are you going to keep banging your head against the door and hoping it will break down? Or are you going to try and find another entrance, even if that other entrance ends up not working either? You know, it's insanity to just keep on doing the same thing over and over again with these players who aren't putting in fight, aren't putting in performances. You just keep playing them when you have kids on the bench who might be enthusiastic, even if they don't have the technical ability. They show a bit of fight and then find the confidence to maybe use any technical ability they do have. You never know. I always say you never know unless you give them a go. And we don't seem to be giving them a go ever, basically. It's always Odebear or Tell or some other kid that we've signed for like 20, 25 million that hasn't proven.
But I'd rather see like, Byfield's just an example. Like, I don't want to see Van der Ven or Romero for the rest of the season. I know it sounds wild, but I don't see either of them for the rest of the season. I'd rather see Danso with Byfield at centre back. Like, honestly, I'm so done with them. Like, they don't want to play for Spurs. We're in a situation where we need players that actually want to show some fucking fight and some effort. Like, the body language of them is just so wrong. Like, Van der Ven, like, I know we will see the clip.
Well, the thing with Van der Ven though is, if he didn't have his pace, I don't think he'd actually be a very good defender. He relies on his pace, and without that, I think he gets a bit hyped up a bit too much as well.
With the Van der Ven situation, we talking about how he was seen like ignoring Tudor. Because I don't know if this is true, but I did read online. People were saying that Tudor was actually shouting towards Dragusin, who would like run up the pitch, and it was basically more directed to him, and that the camera angle just made it look like Van der Ven was ignoring him. I don't know how much truth there is in that.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I've seen that as well.
I saw
but
that.
What I'm saying, players who want to play for us. Otherwise, I think we're not going to get out of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we will get out of it. I'll be honest. Right?
I'm just saying we're down to like, because Tudor's come in, we're down to certain options, and I'd rather pick the options who want to fight for the flipping club. I know it means more kids, but I'd rather see them at this point because otherwise I think we're just a sinking ship.
I know Nige is going to come in. I know you are, Nige, but I'll say it on your channel now. If Igor's got the bollocks, right, and sorry for swearing, right?
You're good, mate.
That kid, trust me, could save our season. He could be the spark. And if you don't try, you never know. You never know. Listen, what have we got to lose by chucking him on in the second half of a game? You know what I mean? If you're 1-0 down or if you're 0-0, there's no one else doing anything. So try and create a spark. And if, you know, everyone says this kid is what he is, I've seen him a few times, he looks a really good player. But looking really good and doing it in the Premier League, as we all know, is a different kettle of fish. So, you know, for me, they've got nothing to lose and just like, you know, give him a go. Give him a go. I'm not saying put a team full on Nige, but give him a go, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I've got to say a few things quickly. First of all, guys in the chat, listen, if I don't see your message and I go past it, I apologise. It's really difficult having a YouTube channel when you've got over 100 people in the room and you're trying to concentrate on what's being said and you've got people chatting. It's not always easy. So if I've missed a comment, I apologise. If you want to unsubscribe, it's absolutely fine. Secondly, there was a post in there earlier that I saw that I thought was really interesting. I can't remember who put it now. But I was always under the impression, thinking, it's World Cup here. All these players are going to be wanting to play for their place in the World Cup. So surely they're going to be better. But then he's made a good comment of a lot of these players now at this time in the season are going to want to be fit for the World Cup. So maybe they're not putting the effort in. Maybe they would be usually just because they're trying to stay fit. Do you think there's any truth in that?
Maybe Van der Ven. I don't know. It's a good question.
I think there is a lot of truth in that, actually. I think, I think that's an interesting point, actually, because I think a lot of them would obviously rather play for their country in the World Cup year than in for the club. But to be honest, I think a lot of that first team are just not actually very good. So yeah.
Listen, you.
Well,
The club play
Romero,
them. So go on, Simon. You go first. Go on, mate.
Romero's more for Argentina than for Spurs, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Romero is definitely.
Yeah, more for
Why
Argentina.
can't-
You'd rather play for Argentina than play for Spurs, wouldn't they?
Why can't we pull Mikey Moore back? I mean, without all these injury problems, is there a clause in his contract that he
No,
can't be
there's
called?
no
at all?
recall clause. No recall
No,
clause.
silly
No.
Spurs.
He would he want to come back?
Don't
I
have
wouldn't
no
want to come
choice,
back.
does he? If they're,
He'd probably still be on the bench if he did.
He'd still be on the bench.
You sort of make a slight joke, but I think we could actually apply this with Vuskovic. I think he might be for us what Gnabry was like for Arsenal, because remember they kept sending out Gnabry on loan to all these clubs, and then by the time he had actually developed, when he was due to return, he said, "Stop this! I'm not staying at Arsenal," and he went off to Bayern instead. By the time he got developed, I think as soon as Vuskovic, he's like ready to play at the top level for us, I think he'll want to go elsewhere, somewhere bigger. You know, that's just my take on it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Crazy question, but Dele Alli on a free, is that a contract?
No.
We just need bodies at this point. I don't see why not.
He's not fit, is he? He's not going to be fit.
What is he? 30? He's 31, isn't he? 31 years old. 31.
He might end up just another one.
Pretty fit. He looks pretty fit.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being looking fit and being. You know how long it takes to get match
I think
fit.
he's. I think he's still in his 20s, isn't he, Dele Alli?
31.
Late 20s. I think
31. 31.
Oh, was he?
31.
Listen, if it gets that bad, they're going to have to strike a 5-game deal with him or something, and have him getting ready now for the next 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Cookmeister, get your boots ready. Cookmeister, you'll have to get your boots on, mate.
I ain't lost enough weight yet, mate, and I'm sure no one wants to see me trudging down the left wing with my knobbly knees at 57 years old. No chance. I'll give it a go, obviously.
I saw you, mate. I can
still put a ball in, mate. No problem. I can still do that.
I saw you doing keepy ups in Sava's back garden, mate. You ain't lost it.
Anyone can do that.
Well, none of our winners can cross the ball, so I'm sure you'll probably do a better job.
I can cross the ball still. Yeah.
I'm sorry about being shameless, Nige. I'm sorry about being shameless.
All right, mate. So I know what you like.
We are 91 away from 1,000.
There you go.
Come on, there's got to be 91 of you in there. Just subscribe to the 2 Mark Show.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Shameless.
How many points? How many points do we need to survive, guys?
So there's 30 up for grabs. 30 points up for grabs, 30?
Yeah, we're on 29 now.
What, 3 wins in the draw? 3 wins, or 13, full 13-ish?
I can't
12, 13. What, 3 wins in the draw? What, or 3 or 4 wins for definite, I reckon, or 3 in the draw, something like that.
I think we say 4.
They always say 4
wins. What, 4 wins?
Yeah, I said 4 wins before the Arsenal game.
But most of the time, it's a lot less than that. They always say 40, don't they?
Yeah, the average for the past few years has been about 35.
Yeah, there you go. So
no, we need more than that.
I think we'll need more than that. I think
we'll need more than 35. More like 40.
West Ham are better. Leeds are better. Forest, I still think got fight in them. So
I think 3 wins will do it.
Listen,
they do. They look.
Forest and West Ham are massive problems for Spurs.
No, but West Ham have got Liverpool. West Ham have got Liverpool away the weekend. Then they got Man City coming up at home soon. West Ham, so they got 2 very hard games coming up in the next 3.
I think
Liverpool and Man City, West Ham have got coming up, and we've got Fulham and Palace.
Because we
have to beat Fulham against Palace
in the first half against Chelsea. I think they could. I'm not saying they will get something at Anfield. I don't want them to, but I wouldn't rule them out getting something.
I wouldn't either. Not at Anfield, no. At City, I'd say it's probably
City.
You win, but Liverpool, there's nothing to say for me that Liverpool. It's like cut and dry that they'll definitely beat West Ham if West Ham put performance. Definitely not. No.
But West Ham have only got Somerville and Bowen, haven't they? That can keep them up. Somerville and Bowen. They're the two main players for West Ham. Somerville and Bowen. They're the
they
main
support
two.
3 players in
And
January.
those 2
as well.
signings too that they got,
The
that they
Saka
made.
and yeah.
I still think we'll get out of it. I still think we'll be all right.
I wish I had your.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Just 30 points. 30 points. We've got to get
time,
these.
guys.
I'm sure we get 3 wins.
Simon, you've got to remember 2 in 18.
I know that, but no, I think we'll do Fulham, and I think we'll beat Palace at home.
I wish I had your optimism, because I don't sound too negative, but I don't see 2 points maximum for me. Again, basically, we have 4 games that I see us getting 2 points from. It's mad. I'm this pessimistic.
I think Fulham might beat us. I'm not
Fulham
Fulham
is a loss based on our previous, because we haven't even been winning there recently when we're not this bad. Like last season we didn't win. The season before that we got battered 3-0 there and didn't really lay a glove on them. And this season we're going there in the worst form ever. I think basically we have games. It's against Leeds, Forest, Everton and Palace. They're all home games, I believe. I see a maximum 2 points from these 4 matches, and I think we're down.
We're down then.
If that happens, we're gone.
Yeah, I think we're
If
gone.
we lose to Palace, I think it's over. To be honest, if we lose to Palace, I think it's over.
Yeah,
Palace is a must win.
If we lose
Palace
the next
is at home, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got Liverpool away. Got Liverpool away after that. Liverpool away after Palace, and we never win at Liverpool. So we're going to get nothing at Liverpool.
Chelsea
You know what's
away.
going to happen you know exactly what's going to happen when we play Palace. Brennan Johnson, 95th minute.
Johnson, post, yeah. He could have.
He won't be singing
have.
close to the piano then.
And then I will be on our channel. I told you.
With your Johnson shirt on.
Brennan Johnson hasn't done anything at Palace yet, has he?
He came on a sub the other day.
I mean, what I mean, he hasn't done
Sub
anything. He
against
hasn't
Wolves.
scored, he hasn't assisted or anything, I don't think.
Don't say that.
Do you remember what Ryan Sessegnon did last season? I think it was like his first.
Yeah, he
scored against us for Fulham. He scored.
You can't make it up.
I always find that if a player hasn't scored at all this season, or
It
never scored in about
Spurs.
5
He'll
years,
score
play
against Spurs, that player.
Yeah. We all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen.
I see our 5 home games as the games that keep us up.
I agree.
So Palace, Forest, Leeds,
Brighton and Everton
and Brighton. Yeah.
We
have to win 3 of them. Win 3 and draw 1.
I agree.
But then
do you see us getting
any
points at the moment? The thing, Nigel, do you actually see us getting in points? Because where we're playing, I wouldn't surprise me if we lost at home to Palace. Our home form is rubbish. So it's like relying on our home form, which we've been crap at all season. We've won like 2 home games all season.
I do see us beating Palace because I don't see where their threat is, if you know what I mean. I think the manager's checked out. I think a lot of their players have checked out.
Yeah.
I see us beating Palace.
Yeah.
Brighton maybe not so much. You had Forest to be a tough game.
And Leeds at home would be a hard game.
Leeds would be hard. Yeah.
They're a hard team.
I think Everton would be. I think
they'll be on the Everton will be on the beach. Everton will be on the beach, but hopefully we don't have to go to the Everton game to wonder if we're going to stay up or not.
Palace have basically fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, because the manager's leaving. The manager's going. It's got a lot to do with it.
Well, he's begging for the sack. No going at the end of the season. He's been begging for the sack for like weeks on end now.
Hasn't he? Yeah.
Can I ask? I've got a question for you. This is interesting. With our home form, like it is, and like, everyone's just been saying, a lot of us would be pinning our hopes on our games that we've got left at home, to get points from. Does anyone think that the players feel the pressure at the moment and for the last few weeks too much at home, but away, because it's just the few thousand away fans that are there, whatever it is, I don't know. Do you think they play with less pressure away and there's more chance of nicking a point here and there away from home? Because I just feel like we should be beating these teams at home. Yeah, but for some unknown reason, obviously lack of a front three and whatever else, and a poor midfield at times. Does anyone see it like that? I just thought I'd ask the question.
I'd say basically, I agree 100%, but I'd only really apply it to like earlier this season, basically, when we were sort of in that habit where we were dropping points at home, but we were getting we were getting points away still. It looks like basically at home, it's all like, they're nervous about making a mistake at home in front of all these people. So it's like they're thinking about that. And then away from home, they kind of look like they had a bit more about them, a bit more fight. But recently, it's just look no effort, no trying, no matter whether they're at home or no matter they're away. It's just they look. I think
personally, in my opinion, it's down to the makeup of the structure of the squad. Obviously, Madison and Kuzeski are out, right? I think teams come to Spurs and they know we have no creativity. I know Kasabi's meant to be this player, but for me, he clearly is not cut out for the Premier League, and I know he's meant to be our source of creativity. So I don't think it's just the whole pressure thing. I just think we don't have the structural makeup to break down teams. So, yeah. And when you're
I think Xavi would be a better player as when he's got better players around him.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you.
I might doubt.
And I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you now. I think the players don't give a monkeys, to be honest, because they know if we do get relegated, they'll be off anyway. Football's not about pride and passion for the badge anymore.
Like it used to be.
You pay me.
This is why I give the kids a go, because at least they'll tell them you'll fight. You can start and you can fight.
They've got passion.
In the first team, at least. If that makes sense.
I really don't get the whole notion that we can't play the kids, because it's like I remember that
I think
exactly for something, and I remember it was like. I think it was 2 years ago. I can't remember. Does anyone remember the Liverpool-Chelsea Carabao Cup final like a few years ago where Liverpool were like depleted with injuries, and Jurgen Klopp just went, I'm just going to play, as I said earlier, square pegs and square rolls. I'm just going to chuck a few kids on, and they won the bloody trophy. And that season as well, Liverpool's youth team were behind Spurs' youth team in the Youth Premier League. And I remember all that whole season, I was screaming, if Liverpool are able to field their youngsters in a bloody cup final, why can't we give a few of our youngsters who are ahead of Liverpool's youngsters just a few minutes on the pitch, let alone in the cup final, just a few minutes in the league game? Yeah.
He won't do it. Tudor won't do it.
Nope.
He has nothing to lose. He might as well. He's only in a few months.
But you haven't even...
injuries. If we get more injury, just throw the kids in.
Simon, you haven't even got to throw loads of them on, though. Byfield's been on the bench regularly.
A couple. Two, maybe
Barnett's been on there regularly.
Yeah, Lucas Barnett.
He's been on there regularly.
Yeah, Lucas Barnett. Yeah, I'll give him a 20-minute run out against Fulham. I mean?
Let him have a go. You never know what you're going to get.
I'd rather him in the team than Papa Sarr.
There you go. What does that tell you then? What does that tell you?
And you get the passion out of them because they've been here since they was like nippers.
Yeah.
And it gets the fans behind them as well, doesn't it? It gets
exactly.
the fans
One of our own and all that. One of our own.
Boy, that's right.
But this is the desperation that we're coming to now.
Yeah.
Should be like this, it should not be like this.
We're on a Tottenham podcast. Yeah.
And we're talking about relegation.
And getting kids in from the youth team
to keep us up.
No passion in the first team.
Never saw that coming. Never saw that coming. Or did we? Or did we see it coming?
Absolutely mad.
Well, last season maybe showed us anyway. A glimpse into it. I don't know. But we need to just pick players who want to play for Spurs. I know it sounds really corny, but I just look at these players and I just think they're defeated already. They just don't have anything left in them. They don't. Well,
some of them are leaving anyway. Some of them, Romero and Van der Ven want to go anyway. Don't they? Romero and Van der Ven want to go anyway. There's two in Vicario wants to go. Three that want to go anyway. For definite, they want to get out now.
Surely a relegation on your CV won't look good, will it, for the players?
They don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't think they
care. They'll still get their move if we go there.
To be honest, you can add Muani into that as well. I reckon he's got his bag packed. I don't think
he doesn't even want to be here.
I don't even think he's unpacked the suitcase. I think he's booked his thing back to Paris already. He didn't want to be here in the first place.
Mario came to us because he had no other options on the last day and he wanted to play for the World Cup.
Exactly.
But he doesn't want to play for Spurs as such. He wanted to play for a
we
club.
could have got. Yeah, but Hayes, we could have got Lookman. Why didn't we get Lookman?
I don't know.
We could have got Lookman.
Don't ask me. I wish I would have got Lookman.
Look at what he's doing for Atletico Madrid. Lookman's playing really well for Atletico Madrid. Why didn't we get Lookman? We could have got Lookman in.
It's no-brainer signings. We never make them. For example, Palinha. We needed a profile like him for 3 bloody years. And we completely ignored him. And then we finally do get him in, and it's on a loan, basically. And he's kind of shown us part of our midfield we've been missing for years. The only problem now is we're missing other parts of the midfield because it took so bloody long to get him in the squad in the first place. Yeah.
See, I'd play Paulino with Gallagher in the 2, personally.
I would, against Fulham,
And so Byfield, Spence, and Sousa as the back 4 or something. I don't know. We try something different.
He's done a play back 3, isn't he? And I'm sorry, that back 3 doesn't work in the Premier League, as we saw with Amorim with Man United.
I do not rate Dragerson.
No, I don't rate him.
I don't rate Dragerson. I don't rate Dragerson at all.
Yeah, he's dragging us in the mud.
He's dragging us in the mud.
And again, though, it's one of those things. It's a bloke that's been out long term, whether you rate him or not. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of whether you rate him or not, he's here, right? So he's had a long term injury again. Bad knee injury. Yeah. All right. He had a couple of substitute appearances for 5 minutes at the end of games, and then all of a sudden, he's back in. He's back in 90 minutes. Yeah. He's probably not ready for it. You know, he's got the turning circle with a 40-foot truck at the moment. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. He may well be a good player in a 3, but I just don't think maybe he's anywhere near fit enough yet, after such a bad injury.
Yeah, I see a comment there.
Agent, yeah. Sorry.
I see a comment there saying why. I see at the bottom there we should have signed Grealish. That's a player I don't know why we didn't go after.
Yeah, but there you go, another one we missed out on.
You should have got him 10 years ago or 6 years ago.
We could have got for like 16 million at a time, and Levy didn't want to pay it, did he? So.
I think Grealish's dad even came out and said that. Like, he thought he was going to Tottenham, and then there was this whole stipulations. We want to pay it in these installments or something. And then the new Villa
new owners come in and move the goalpost.
Selling him, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yep. We could have had him for basically cheap money, and then the Americans turned out to bought Villa and said, "No, if you want him now,
that's it."
Is that the 10 million plus on a mud offer or something? Was it 5 million, 10 million?
We could have had him.
It was real low. It was real low.
I think it was like 5 million, wasn't it?
On loan or something.
There's many players we could have got. Bruno Fernandes we could have got many years ago. He was ready to come to Spurs. Bruno Fernandes mucked about with that one.
Yeah.
Eze. What about the Eze one?
Yeah. Don't too much.
We got Gedson.
Mucked about with that one.
Eze didn't want to come to us though, did he? He was playing us, so he's getting the Arsenal move.
Yeah, probably right, but I just
you always wonder though, because I've been hearing 2 kind of conflicting stories. Because some people are saying if we did give him that offer, and that Arsenal his agent would have been on the phone to Arsenal.
Probably. Yeah, I get that.
But also at the same time, you also hear the story about the fact that apparently Arsenal only went in for him because they got that injury to Havertz. So I'm wondering, if we had just moved before that injury, would Arsenal have been as desperate to get Eze? Maybe they would have, just so we didn't get him. There's always that possibility. But you never know unless you give it a go. As I said, so.
We messed around for 2 weeks or something, didn't we? Or something like that?
I think we did all the legwork.
It's the same with Semenyo. We could have got Semenyo last summer.
So many players.
We're not ahead of the ball. That's the problem. Back in the day,
we could have got. We had a chance.
But back in the day, Simon, like when Poch was here, they'd have had scouts looking at these players like what you're talking about, the Semenyos, the Fernandezes, before they were huge. They were huge, and we'd have been picking them, to come in. Nowadays, God knows what our scouting system is doing, because one thing it definitely ain't doing is finding players that are capable at a reasonable price. You know,
If we,
you've got to compare us to a team like Brighton or Brentford. They do it all the time.
Or even Bournemouth. Look at Bournemouth. The players of Bournemouth are buying. Look where they are in the league. Bournemouth sold a few of their top players. Look where Bournemouth are. Bought some top players in. Look where they are in the top 8, top 10. Bournemouth. And they've sold their top players.
Teams like Bournemouth and Brighton.
Exactly.
The vultures circle round them every summer and handpick the
take their top players. Yeah, I get that. But then they go out and get some other top players to bring them in, to replace them.
They've got ready-made replacements coming in right behind them. Right behind.
We're clueless, bloody clueless. We are.
Yeah.
Because we're reactionary.
Simon,
reactive.
Don't get upset. I can see it in your eyes there when you
your
voice raised.
I've been brewing up for the last couple. I've been brewing up all season.
Blood pressure, Simon. Blood pressure.
I'm on medication. I'm all right. I won't keel over.
Just making sure you're all right, mate.
Where have you been on our calling show, mate?
Ron has.
I'm saying we're a reactive club. So, for example, we took so long to sack Frank. By this point, it's probably too little, too late. If I'm honest, like we should have done it before. We're reactive in the market. We only got on board players because players got injured, like Gallagher because of Bentancur, and Sousa because we had no left back at that point. Differences is with Brighton, Brentford is they're proactive, so they probably know Tony, for example, years ago was being watched by like 3 or 4 clubs, and they said, okay, if Tony goes, we're going to get this amount of million, for example, and we're going to go and buy this player, and they'll agree terms with like that player in advance and say, look, we're ready to pay the money to the club, and they'll like how Arsenal did the Eze deal. They spoke to Eze earlier in the window, and they said they agreed terms with him, and they said we'll come back. That's essentially what happened, and then the Havertz injury happened, and we've fucked around for 2 weeks. And then they went and got him within like hours, literally. It's like the Trossard deal. We bid half the money, and then they got him within like 24 hours. Like they already know, like well in advance. It's like, but I say Brentford and Brighton as examples because they are clubs who you would think are lesser than Spurs in terms of like money, but they've already proactive to know, oh, we might lose this player this summer. Here's the replacement, and they'll go and sign him like within like the same week, maybe.
Yeah,
but we don't work like that.
The moment
almost a year, we still haven't bought a left winger.
It's
so they don't have a plan. It's ongoing. Yeah.
The moment it was basically when the January transfer window had been open like a day or two. I knew exactly the way it was going to go, because I thought if we were finally going to move like a serious club, and this whole new ENIC were actually changing things. I knew that they would have basically been doing deals in the background through September all the way through December, and they would have had something ready to announce on day one, but they didn't. And the moment, basically after 3 or 4 days, I basically knew I said we were making zero signings, and we got Gallagher and we got Sousa in. But the only real one I think you can say is maybe Sousa, because Gallagher was only brought in because of Bentancur's injury. And also the money we spent on him was from selling Brennan Johnson. So we didn't really actually make any of these sort of big club moves. It's just, more words from the ENIC that just doesn't come true. Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to ask you one question. Before I do, please get over to the other guys and subscribe to their channels. I'm going to bring them up now. Of course, the 2 Marks. As we all know, I've got to find it. There you go. The 2 Marks show. Please get over and subscribe to the 2 Marks. Really would appreciate it. Also, when I find it, please get over to Dr. Tottenham Therapy. Subscribe to his channel too. Newly started. Smashing out the contact. Get over to there. And of course, to Haz at Hotspur as well. And definitely, if you have a channel, mate, stick it in the chat, and we'll get that one up as well. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more.
Sorry, one question. Sorry, which one's Haz in here?
Oh, that's me. I subscribed to you, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I saw the sub. Cheers for that, mate. I saw that. Cheers.
I just subbed you as well, mate.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
When Nige put it in the chat, I was on my phone messing about.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that, guys. Much appreciated.
The private chat, my link.
Let's copy this link. And guys, please give my stream a like. If you haven't subbed, subscribe to the channel too. Really would appreciate it. Guys, thanks for joining me. Well, last question. Are we going to stay up?
Yes.
No.
No.
Definitely not. No, 2 points maximum rest of the season.
Of course, I can't say any different. We've got to.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Do you know how hard that is for me to say, mate? Because I just want to sit here and go, yeah, we'll be all right. I really don't think we've got it in us, Nige. I don't.
I can't say it, mate. I can't say it.
I don't think we've got it in us. We ain't got the fight, mate. We're right on it now. And I know what Steve said about
thanks, Ellie. Cheers. Thanks.
West Ham have got a couple of, difficult fixtures coming up, and we need to, get at least 4 points from these next 2 games. But I'm just really struggling to see how we're getting up the field to score goals. I really am. And that's my biggest problem with it. I don't want to say it, but I think it's going to go right to the end. I think there's big games, where teams around the bottom are involved with us, might be in a better position, might be in a worse. And I think, God, I hate saying this. I think we're going to go down. Sorry.
Hang your head in shame, boss. Hang your head
Mark,
in shame.
Right, but Mark, what indication do you have that we're going to stay up? When I look at us, I think we're probably going to lose 3-1 on Sunday to Fulham. We'll probably.
I can't say it. I can't say it as.
His heart won't let him say it as. Listen, yeah, I've been promoting our channel all day as the realist channel. Yeah, people in the chat this morning giving it the big one, so they was put straight. Yeah, realist channel. Be real to yourself and say what you feel, Sheriff. Come on. Even though you can't say it, do you believe we are going down? We'll put it that way. Yes or no?
50-50.
Yeah.
See?
I can't say it, though. It's
He
in my heart,
can't say it, but you know what he's really thinking, even though he can't say it. Which is fair enough.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna end the show by saying we will stay up.
Go on, Nige.
Go on.
Don't know why, but we're gonna stay
Go
up.
on,
We are
Nige.
gonna stay up.
Big up the West Country, mate. Big up the West Country.
Come on, you Spurs. You can do it.
Big up the West Country, Nige.
Absolutely.
4 wins.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
4 wins and a couple of draws. Easy. No, we will stay up by hook or by crook.
I'm going to say just quickly, I've got my phone on. Do us a favour, you lot. Still 100 odd of you in here. Yeah, 90 odd. 9 away from 100 likes. There's got to be 9 of you in here. Hit the like button. Get it to 100 likes. It's got to be worth it. You know what I mean? We had some cracking guests on Nige tonight. Had some crackers on. So big up to him.
Yeah.
Hit that like button for him and get his 7 away now. 7 more likes to 100. Thank you.
I'd say one thing quickly. Sorry.
Go for it, mate.
We're having all this doom and gloom that we're saying, we'll lose to Fulham. We don't have any faith in this. Knowing Spurs, they'll probably go and beat Fulham now.
Yeah, then lose to Palace.
Beat Fulham, lose to Palace. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But my worry is that we're pointing to our home matches as the savoury, the game's going to save us, because I don't look at our away games as doable to get something from. Even Fulham away, I think is really hard. We've got to go to Anfield. We've got to go to Stamford Bridge. These are places we rarely get anything. I mean, it'll be a miracle if we do. But
I was there when we won at Anfield.
In 2011. Was that Van der
Vaart? Klinsmann and Sheringham in 94.
Our first season in
Sheringham, 94.
But basically, and then you look at our home games as the savers. They're going to save us, right? But our home form was so bad that I think it lots to do with the makeup of the squad. And I think, like I said, poor recruitment's got us here. We've overbloated with youngsters who are not Spurs youngsters. So for me to think they're going to care about us is quite minimal. And then we've got mercenaries, players like Moani, who is a mercenary, in my opinion, trying to score goals for us to stay up. And it's okay, to be fair to players like Solanke, I think Solanke has shown that he's got something, that he will do something if we put him in. And obviously Paulinho, who I would give the armband to now for the rest of the season, in my opinion, just give it to him.
I just
don't think there's no leadership from the whole club, and on the pitch they're not responding to Tudor. From what I saw in the Arsenal game, they're not responding to him. So what do you do at this point? You've got to just pick players that want to play for the club. And is Tudor going to suddenly do something again? I expect him to do. I hope he does this, but we need a reaction. And I said we're very reactive, but we need a reaction out of the players.
Yeah,
and I've not seen that. So
I know you want to close off, but I just wanted to add one thing to the recruitment point you made. I think a lot of our problems. I know we're missing Kane, we're missing Son, these kinds of players, but also around that era. If you look at the kind of players we had playing around them, we had Yasser Chadleys, we had Eric Lamelas, and even if they weren't the sort of the top players like Kane, they would put in a shift, they'd be physical. Like everyone remembers that 2-1 free kick Kane scored at Villa Park. No one remembers Chadley's equaliser that made it so that was possible in the first place. We've replaced Yasser Chadleys. That was Chadley. We replaced Chadleys, we've replaced Lamelas with Nkudus and Brian Hills. And that's basically been our recruitment problem for a long time, basically. Yeah.
Yep.
There's no goal scorers. We had Lookman and Duran. Was it Duran? Just Duran. There's options in January, because I was on this show when talking about this. Yeah. And even on the last few hours, we could have got we didn't do anything. I'm not saying Duran's the best player, but he scores goals, like even off the bench. Like,
right?
And we need goals. And we didn't take those options. So to me, it's like, well, you had so many options to fix the problems that you started at the start of the season. Like, you didn't sack Frank quick enough. I would have sacked him at least after West Ham. That's when I was done with it personally. But I know a lot of people said in December. Paratici said in December. And maybe if Tudor came in then, maybe would have seen some more of a reaction. But we've left it so late to sack him. Then we've only got 12 games left. He needs to do something magical to change the mindset of the players, or change the players, what limited resources he's got available. And we turned down players that could have saved us out of the situation. So every opportunity we've had to turn it around, we've not. So it's very hard for me to think now we're going to suddenly turn it around. Sorry, I feel like I'm on a passionate rant, but like that's how I feel. Like I don't see how we turn it around.
As it's on this is on Enoch, mate. If we go down, this is on Enoch.
100%. 100%, guys.
They carry the can. Enoch carry the can.
Absolutely. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Hotspur. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Definitely, Sheriff and Cookie. And thank you to everyone who's come in and supported. Really do appreciate each and every one of you. Guys, have a great evening. Fingers crossed. Spurs stay up, and we will see you all soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.